On today's History of Politics, we're going to talk about one of the newer amendments, an amendment from 1964. That's the 24th Amendment. So let me tell you a little story about revenue and racism to give you context. Did you know that initially there was a poll tax? You had to pay to vote. You had to pay as a citizen to exercise your right to vote. It's true. And it was instituted to raise revenue for the government. But after the Civil War, its definition changed to the degree that it was used as a deterrent to keep African Americans and poor whites from the polls because they simply couldn't afford the poll tax. The poll tax varied from state to state. For example, in 1960 in Texas, it was $1.50. In Alabama, on the other hand, it was $3. There was also, after the Civil War, when the poll tax changed direction, changed its meaning, what they would also do is they had a grandfathering deal, whereas if you're a poor white person, but your ancestors voted prior to the Civil War, then the poll tax was waived for you. This, along with the Electoral College, was just something else to keep black votes from being done, and mainly in the South, because the South lost the Civil War, and they were pro-slavery before the Civil War. So this was just another way to exercise their bigotry. Having said that, the 24th Amendment states that no one in federal elections, whether it be for president, vice president, senator, or representative, no, the federal government or the state cannot stop the right to vote for a poll tax. The 24th Amendment of 1964 abolished the poll tax, allowing everybody, every United States citizen, to vote. Poll tax is illegal. You know, it's so embarrassing, so painful right now to see. When I think about the Declaration of Independence, when I think about the preamble of the Constitution, when I think about all the strides that were made in the 1960s to give minorities in this country, who were, at that time, they were minorities, to give them a voice. And along comes Donald Trump, who wants to take that voice right away from them. After all these years, it doesn't make sense. And if you want to get a further examining of that, look on my channel in my playlist and watch the video, the bonus reel, post-Trump. I've got several bonus reels on there. I usually do one a week. Look at the one that says post-Trump. That'll give you what my vision for America should be after we get rid of him, after he's gone. Yes, you're not charging people to vote. You can't because of the 24th Amendment. But you found different ways to do it through the gerrymander and so on, which we'll be tackling those issues in this series at a later date. Now, you might ask, why are we going through the amendments? Why are we going through the Constitution? The term Constitution literally means guts. It's what makes up, it's the foundation, if you will, of a person. It's the heart, the vital organs. It's required in order for something to live. And the beautiful thing about the Constitution, it's what's called a fluid document, which means that it can change with the times. There is a process to add on to. We already saw where an amendment, a prior amendment, was knocked out by a newer one. because the times changed. The times changed. And that's the beauty of that thing. So why do we talk about the Constitution and the law and so on? Simply put, if you want to understand politics, you have to understand what the country was founded on, and then how it flared off into the different branches of politics. So I want you to have a thorough knowledge of what's going on here, so that you could go back and not listen to just the words of somebody who just spouts any old lie to you. Because what I tell you, you could go look up yourself. You could go look it up yourself and see if I'm right. I mean, I know I am. I've been studying the Constitution since 1978. Some of my viewers weren't even born then. But if you want, go look it up and check it out for yourself to verify that I'm right. But my goal is that if you know yourself the truth, what these things say, then you can apply them to what's going on in the world. And I want to address the young people in particular here because, see, people my age and like that, to be frank about it, we're washed up. I'll be 63 in a month. We're washed up. We're doing whatever we can. We've done some things. But right now, we're not the future of this country. When we're gone, you're going to be here, prayerfully. And we need you to pick up the reins and go even further, because young people are the next city councilmen, mayors, prosecutors, judges, state senate and legislators, governors, who knows, even U.S. senators and representatives, or maybe even presidents. You're the next doctors, the next lawyers, the next scientists, and this is the world that we're leaving to you. So you need to understand this world. That's why I give you the actual amendment or whatever, the actual fact, and then I apply it for you to what's going on today. And do yourself a favor. Do not listen to what politicians say. Don't take their word as Lord. Look up what they say. I learned a long time ago, politicians will say what they need to say in order to get your vote. And then when they get in there, they self-serve. It seems like it's almost human nature. But I stopped by today to tell you this. If you want to know what a politician is about, look at what they've done in the past. That's the indicator of what they're going to do in the future. Leopards don't change their spots. I'm running for a political office. I'm trying to do it differently, though, because I'm not the elite. I'm not wealthy. And my interest is not really personal, other than I want to see the world be a better place. I'm not trying to enrich myself. I don't want none of it. I mean, yeah, I'm going to take the salary, but I'm also donating a great portion of it too. Because I know how to live. I don't need a 16-bedroom house with 12 toilets when I only got one ass. I don't need 40 cars. We're not going to drive one at a time. Why would I spend all that money on insurance, which is skyrocketing, which is something we need to address one day? I'm not trying to do it. What I want to see is success in this generation, and I want to see the next generation thrive. But how can they do that if we leave them a world that can't sustain itself? If we leave them uneducated and stupid and don't teach them how to fight for what they need? And that's what we're here for. And with that being said, that's the 24th Amendment on this Friday. Tomorrow we're going to do the 25th Amendment. And God Almighty, that applies right now. We're going to do the 25th Amendment, and we'll be finished with the amendments next week. We'll start to deal with the articles, and we're going to keep it moving. If you learned something today, by all means, comment, like, and subscribe. Love that. And I love to read your comments. But keep them clean. Because if you start the MAGA stuff, you're done. You're blocked. You're cut off. Your nonsense is going to be listened to. Because you know what? I am not a robot. I don't just quote what somebody else tells me. I read facts. I'm capable of independent thought. And if you want to spout Donald Trump's nonsense, go on Truth Social and lie to them like he does. But don't bring it here. I don't mind political discourse. I don't mind difference of opinion. But if you bring nonsense here, be prepared to get checked. I'm telling you. Anyway, comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.